It's Life Orb, Walking Wake. They chip in DD. They get the KO on a DD. That, of course, gives me Golem. I get a Soul Heart. I get Trick Room. I get Golem. Let's just do it. Terra Ground, Dazzling Gleam, Explosion. Alright, once again, this is a supplemental video to my VGC Legends series. That is the series where I spin a wheel, get a random, legendary, or mythical Pokemon, build a team around that Pokemon and try it out on the ladder. But I have decided with mythical Pokemon that I want more than one look at some of them, because mythical Pokemon are very weird, interesting, and not legal in VGC very often. So I'm not really satisfied with the premise of the series, which is building just one team around the Pokemon. For some of them, I want to do 2 or 3. I think Magearna is going to be a 3-parter. I am interested in trying the Perish Song setup that I've seen some people using on the ladder. But first, a silly idea that I came up with very early on when Reg J was announced. Magearna with Alolan Golem. So the idea is this. With Soul Heart, Magearna gets a special attack boost every time another Pokemon faints. Doesn't matter whether Magearna is involved in the KO, and doesn't matter which team the other Pokemon is on. And Alolan Golem, with Galvanize, gets power boosted electric type explosion. Also, both of them are slow. Magearna is notably faster than the likes of Ice Rider Calyrex and Ursaluna, so that's a little bit of an issue with running it on Trick Room, but it still mostly plays on Trick Room anyway. Golem is slower than those Pokemon. And actually, it has ways to threaten them as well. I might not make it purely an explosion bot. As far as the rest of the team goes, with that in mind, I think Hard Trick Room is the way to go. So I think Ice Rider Calyrex is probably my other restricted Pokemon. I also like that to complement Alolan Golem with the electric and ice coverage. And I think I want Indeedee to enable the Trick Room setup. I'm thinking something like run Trick Room on Magearna. Indeedee can follow me. Get knocked out. Magearna sets up the Trick Room. It already has a Soul Heart boost, and at that point I can get Golem in and click Explosion. Probably even want Terra Electric on this, so I can give the Explosion a power up. Actually, that's probably not a good use of my Terra basically ever, so maybe I can reconsider the Terra type. I'm thinking Terra Ground Magearna. It's not terrible defensively. I mean, it doesn't have any shared weaknesses, at least with Magearna's original typing. Obviously, being weak to grass and water isn't amazing. It's not terrible either. But this means that Magearna can Terrastalize, take no damage from the explosion because it's electric type explosion with Galvanize, and attack itself in the same turn and really try to rack up those Soul Heart boosts, right? If Explosion gets 2 KOs, or Magearna gets 2 KOs right after the explosion, that's then +3 that turn, because remember, Golem itself fainting also gives a Soul Heart boost. I'm also thinking Terra Ground on Ice Rider Calyrex, so that if there's some position where I prefer, I can, Explosion and Glacial Lance in one turn. I have no idea what the last 2 Pokemon are going to be right now, but that's the initial concept. That's the core that I'm looking at. I'm just going to figure out the rest of the team off recording, and we'll see where that gets us. Alright, well, this is what I've come up with. Something else I realized after I paused the recording is Magearna has trouble with bulky fire types like Ho-Oh and Volcarona. And Ice Rider Calyrex is not amazing for helping into those as well, but it doesn't necessarily have trouble with those. Alolan Golem, it at least can force them to Terrastalize. So, there are actually multiple levels of synergy here. I am not expecting this team to be good, but I'm starting to think it might be not as bad as I thought. But we'll see. Let's keep our expectations measured all the same. For the last 2 Pokemon slots, Torkoal fits very nicely onto Hard Trick Room teams, being much slower than even most Hard Trick Room Pokemon. And it helps me deal with Rillaboom, which can change the terrain on me, set up teammates' priority. Helps me deal with grass types in general when I have Terra Ground on my restricted Pokemon and am incentivized to Terrastalize one of them in a lot of my games. That opens up an obvious weakness to ground, so I think to grass, having more ground types. So I think Torkoal could be valuable there. I've also decided, I've been thinking for a while, I think I've talked about it before, I don't know that Torkoal really needs coverage. Earth Power, I run Earth Power on almost all of my Torkoal. It doesn't really ever do much of anything. I've decided to throw the coverage out this time. I'm going to run all 3 of Eruption, Heat Wave, and Weather Ball. We're going to see how it goes. Eruption, of course, is the most possible damage at full power, but if Torkoal has taken some damage, Eruption is weakened, so Heat Wave gives me better spread damage, Weather Ball gives me single target damage. And for the last slot, I was, at this point, not using... I'm not using the Focus Sash in the final version either. Since I wasn't using the Focus Sash or anything else, I originally just slapped on an Urshifu. It's a strong Pokemon. It can help me deal with, like, Shadow Rider. But given that the Terra Ground also opens up weaknesses to water types, of which there aren't a ton in the format, but there are some. There's Kyogre, there's Rapid Strike or Shifu. I figured Raging Bolt was a little bit safer. And it's a Pokemon that, you know, it's not massively slow, but it's fairly slow. It can fit neatly onto a Trick Room team. Obviously, I don't want to be clicking Thunderclap in Psychic Terrain, except into Flying types, but Psychic Terrain won't be up at all times. Anyway, I think I mostly bring the core 4 here, because the basic game plan is probably lead Magearna Indeedee, follow me Trick Room. I just have to think about how I deal with spread moves, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Follow me Trick Room, get Indeedee knocked out, get a Soul Heart boost. I just bumped the mic. Sorry for that. Get Golem in, Terrasilize Magearna, explode, and then Calyrex in the back to clean up. Obviously, that will depend on the matchup that I see, but that's the most basic vision for what I want this team to do, ideally, if everything goes right. But yeah, Golem also has Stone Edge to cover things like Ho-Oh and Volcarona. It has Supercell Slam for an electric stab that doesn't knock it out in case I ever need that. Body Press is... what is Body Press for? There was something that I thought I wanted fighting coverage for. I don't remember right now what it was. Maybe we'll find out together. Terra Ghost, because I can't guarantee that Psychic Terrain is always up, although that's ideal. And again, I don't think I'm Terrasilizing Golem just to get a stronger explosion. I think there are very few positions where that's a good use of my Terra. So might as well have Ghost for that edge case instead, and Magnet to boost the explosion damage. Alright, let's see how it goes. It should be a fun team. I definitely think that it's going to prove to have some flaws, but like I said, the duo of Alolan Golem, we get a Magearna on the other side here. The duo of Alolan Golem and Magearna is something that came to mind very quickly when I was brainstorming possible Reg J cores. I don't expect it to be good, but I expect it to be fun. Alright, so immediately we have to contend with Kyogre, and that's a real problem because it gets big spread damage with Water Spout. And I think Golem gets Wide Guard, actually. I could have run Wide Guard on Golem, but then I still need Golem on the field for the Trick Room setter. That actually might be an adjustment worth making. I could drop like Supercell Slam or Body Press if I can't remember what that's for Wide Guard. Golem does get Wide Guard, right? I will check after the game. Yeah, because I actually don't know what I do in front of Kyogre, which is pretty awkward for the first game here. Maybe I just hope that Indeedee takes his hit and sets the Trick Room. I could run Raging Bolt and Indeedee. That just incentivizes a Grass Terra, but that's not the end of the world. I'm just going to bring my basic mode, but I actually don't think it's going to work here. But yeah, I can think about Wide Guard Golem after this. I don't think I can count on Indeedee to take a Population Bomb and an Origin Pulse, so I just need Magearna to survive, or not an Origin Pulse, a Water Spout. I think Kyogre just sweeps me, to be honest. Okay, Magearna narrowly survives. And Indeedee got taunted there, not Magearna. The problem is Magearna will knock itself out immediately as soon as it attacks because of the Life Orb. So I'm actually not going to Terra Ground here. I'll save that for Calyrex. I'm just going to Protect and Explode. They don't have Wide Guard on the board, so they have to make some choices here. Again, Terra Grass Kyogre could be very strong, but then I get Calyrex in right after this, right? That's some good synergy there. Golem will only knock itself out. Well, only... I said that weirdly. Golem will only knock itself out, so that's only one Soul Heart boost. That did a lot of damage to Kyogre, though. Oh, it was a crit. Okay. But now... See, okay, so the thing is, Glacial Lance and Flash Cannon into this slot is pretty free, or Glacial Lance Dazzling Gleam. I think I prefer that. They actually are just going to let me have these KOs, but Magearna will knock itself out, and then I need Calyrex to win the game from there by itself. Yeah, so immediately Kyogre kind of overwhelmed my whole game plan. If they go Amoonguss, that's going to underspeed my Calyrex and put it to sleep. I actually need to get out of Trick Room here, which means I need to double protect. But after that, their Magearna will be faster than my Calyrex. I will Terra Ground, of course, but yeah, it only matters if I get the double protect here, which I don't. Okay, I mean, I can wake up here, but I still lose. Let's see. I do wake up, or no, I Terrasilize. I don't wake up. I just saw my Pokemon doing something, and thought, hey, it woke up, but it didn't. All right. What was Body Press for? Dark types? I have Magearna. Steel types? Some steel types could be an issue, but I don't think there's anything that isn't covered by Golem's other moves. And it does get Wide Guard. Let's make that adjustment. Okay. I guess if I lead Golem into Kyogre, then maybe they know that's coming and just click Hydro Pump, but we'll see. No Kyogre here. It's Shadow Rider Calyrex with Indeedee, Zamazenta, Tornadus, Clefairy, and Incineroar. Should I just try my basic mode? I think so. There's no particular reason that I need to bring Torkoal. I mean, Torkoal's good into Zamazenta, but I don't think I need Torkoal. There's a case for Torkoal in this one. But I think I'd rather have Calyrex. And there's not really a case for Raging Bolt. This is not the kind of matchup that Raging Bolt is for. Okay, they lead Indeedee Calyrex. There is a risk that they reverse my Trick Room. That's a real issue, actually. I want to protect Magearna and Trick Room with Indeedee. The problem is... and they might just get me with that. I'm going to try it anyway. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So be it. They switch their Calyrex out. Yeah, they did it. Okay. The good news is a lot of opponents don't make that play twice in a row. Let's see. Helping Hand. Body Press, KOs Indeedee, which I think is actually for the best here. Although, I can't really safely explode on Zamazenta because it gets Wide Guard. But I think what I want to do here anyway is get rid of their Indeedee. I don't know. Given that I can't... yeah, I think I need to not let them reverse Trick Room, right? So I'll Flash Cannon in and Supercell Slam Indeedee. Zamazenta protects. It doesn't Wide Guard, so I actually could have exploded there, but I didn't know. Get rid of Indeedee. That's another Soul Heart boost, and they can't reverse the Trick Room now. They get Clefairy in. I don't think they Wide Guard in this position. I don't actually know. If Golem explodes into a Wide Guard, does Golem faint? Well, let's just see what happens. I'm going to Terra Ground, Flash Cannon, and explode. They also might not click Wide Guard because I'm not falling for it so far. After you, Body Press into Golem KOs. Okay. So I don't get my Explosion off, but I do get another Soul Heart boost there. I get rid of Clefairy. After you, Clefairy is a fun tech that I haven't seen in a while. Clefairy is extremely slow, so it's a way of getting some speed control in Trick Room. I think here... it's not ideal, actually, that I Terrasilize Magearna because I didn't get the Explosion off, and Calyrex is a little bit vulnerable. It doesn't really matter that much, actually. I'm going to Flash Cannon and High Horsepower their Calyrex. I'm still covering for Wide Guard here. They could protect it and get big damage with Zamazenta. Actually, I might want to protect both of my Pokemon here. And scout what they do. If they do protect their Calyrex, then it might not be able to get out of the Trick Room, which I think is what they want here. They do protect it. Zamazenta goes for Body Press into Magearna. Yeah, and I think here I Flash Cannon, High Horsepower, double target their Calyrex, cover for a Focus Sash. Turns out badly for me if they get a double protect, but it's more likely that they don't. They Wide Guard. Maybe they thought I'd fall for it now because they kept it hidden all that time, but I don't fall for it. And now I'm pretty free to click Dazzling Gleam with Magearna because if they Wide Guard... actually, I think I protect and Trick Room first, get the speed control back. But yeah, if they Wide Guard, then they're not doing damage, so they can't really afford to do that. Dazzling Gleam is neutral hit into Zamazenta, single target, +5 special attack, and High Horsepower does damage pretty freely if they click Wide Guard. So there we go. The Explosion didn't really... I mean, the Explosion was of some help this time because Golem knocking itself out Golem didn't knock itself out. I didn't get the explosion off at all. Never mind, the explosion did nothing this game, though Golem being knocked out still boosts Magearna, so there's not a ton of cost to that failure, and Magearna still was able to snowball with Calyrex here. Not bad. Koradon, Lunala, Urshifu, probably single strike form on this team. Incineroar, Whimsicott, and Walking Wake. Okay, Walking Wake is a water type, but not one that performs super well in Trick Room. They have potentially Wide Guard with Lunala. I think I just do the thing here, yeah? I think I just Magearna, Indeedee, Golem. Do I bring Calyrex or Raging Bolt? My gut is saying Calyrex. I do have quite a few Calyrex answers of sorts. I think I still like it. It's a very strong Pokemon. It's one of the best in the game. It might be my pick for the single best restricted Pokemon, although it has tough competition from Miraidon, Shadowrunner, Calyrex. Maybe you could even make a case for Lunala or Zamazenta. Anyway, they lead Walking Wake and Incineroar. Snarl Walking Wake could be an issue here, actually. I didn't really think about it preview. Nonetheless, I'm going to Trick Room and follow me. The good thing about Walking Wake is I'm pretty sure, especially after that Terra, I'm pretty sure Golem can just blast it out of here. It's Life Orb Walking Wake. They chip Indeedee. They get the KO on Indeedee. That, of course, gives me Golem. I get a Soul Heart. I get Trick Room. I get Golem. Let's just do it. Terra Ground, Dazzling Gleam, Explosion. They protect Walking Wake. Okay. Yeah, okay. I guess they were always able to do that. I still get 2 boosts on Magearna from this. But I would have liked to get the Electric type Explosion into the Walking Wake. The Walking Wake is actually still a little bit of a nuisance, because they can Wide Guard here with Lunala. Let's try to get Walking Wake out of here. Plus 3 Flash Cannon is still going to hurt. I know it's not even Assault Vest Walking Wake, because I've seen the Life Orb damage. High Horsepower it as well. They Wide Guard. High Horsepower crits. Flash Cannon KOs. That's not a boost for Calyrex, but it is another boost for Magearna. Calyrex, of course, needs to deliver the KO itself to get the boost. Magearna has no such need, so it would be more efficient to get the KO with Calyrex, but that's not entirely within my control there. And they forfeit. Arceus, Amoonguss, Incineroar, Lunala, Urshifu, and Fluttermane. So again, Lunala can Wide Guard, Lunala can reverse Trick Room. Amoonguss is a problem once I've set my Trick Room up. I have Safety Goggles on Indeedee. I didn't talk about that when I've been running Rocky Helmet a lot lately. I have Safety Goggles on Indeedee because I didn't feel like I had a special need to use it to check Urshifu. And Amoonguss can be a real problem for this team. But I guess just follow me with Goggles Indeedee at least makes Amoonguss' life harder in the early game. That said, I might want to think about bringing Torkoal to this one to deal with Amoonguss later. That would probably mean not bringing Calyrex, which isn't amazing, but I mean, Torkoal hits very hard. It's probably okay. Alright, let's do Magearna, Indeedee, Golem, Torkoal this time and see how that goes. By the way, I have not run into a Kyogre since I made that change after the first game, which is the showdown ladder in a nutshell, huh? Yeah, you never know what you're going to get. That's part of the fun. Okay, they can't fake out here. I can pretty safely redirect anything into Indeedee, I think. They come up with here. Lunala. They don't knock out Indeedee here, which is a little awkward. It's actually preferable that Indeedee be knocked out. But, so be it. I think breaking Shadow Shield is worthwhile here. And I'll just follow me. If they go for a parting shot or something. Preferable that not go into Magearna, the U-turn. Okay. So Lunala will get to target Magearna here. After they bring a new Pokemon in, which is Fluttermane. Lunala goes for Meteor Beam, so it's resisted. It only does 30%. That's not too terrible. However, because they have Lunala on the field, they can Wide Guard. So, I'm not especially tempted to click Explosion here, am I? I think I might be better off. Where it does kind of hurt to not have Calyrex, actually. I think I go Golem here. And I just try to get rid of the Lunala. So I think I Flash Cannon and Supercell Slam. They go Incineroar. Psychic Terrain is still up. They won't be able to fake out Golem next turn. Supercell Slam doesn't do a whole lot, but Flash Cannon gets the KO. Alright. That's +2, Magearna. They still can't fake out. They don't have any terrain control. They get Fluttermane back in. Explosion will hit Fluttermane because it's electric type Explosion. I'm going to Terra Ground, Dazzling Gleam, Explosion. This is the moment we've been wanting to see throughout the video. I mean, this is not the first time I've done it, but this is what this video is all about. Explosion takes out Fluttermane. That Dazzling Gleam will take out Incineroar. Magearna will get to +5, and we never get to see what their last Pokemon is. I think it's probably not a Moongus, but even if it is, I have Torkoal in the back to counter that. It's probably Arceus, right? Honestly, I'm not certain that Arceus couldn't win from here, but we don't get to find out. This Golem Magearna tech is, as I hoped, a lot of fun. This team has a Rillaboom, which is a first for this video. Shadow Rider, Incineroar, Rillaboom, Clefairy, Koraidon, and Fluttermane. So Rillaboom could be a real problem because it changes the terrain. So they can cycle fake outs into my team, unlike that last opponent who wasn't able to do that. And Rillaboom is just an offensive threat to whatever restricted Pokemon I click the Terra Ground on if I do that. Also, it's a threat into Golem to begin with. Yeah, Rillaboom is a huge problem for this team. Oh well. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna do the thing here. Golem and Torkoal again. Incineroar, Calyrex, so no fake out this turn. I might want to think about clicking... no, I think I follow... I was gonna say Trick Room with Indeedee, but no, I think I follow me Trick Room here. They just nasty plot with their Calyrex and taunt Indeedee, but that does give me my Trick Room. It is a little bit awkward because, like, how do I get Golem or somebody in now? I think I'm gonna just target their Calyrex here. But I'm a little bit scared. Yeah, I don't want to switch because neither of my Pokemon on the back wants to take an Astral Barrage, but they do get a Parting Shot here. They can get Rillaboom in. Yeah, change the terrain. Calyrex can throw off a big Astral Barrage here if it wants. That'll KO Magearna, I think. Yeah, okay, well... and there goes my whole game plan, pretty much. That's just as well. I was starting to get cocky with how well the team was working against some opponents. They can have my DD here if they want it. I don't know if they do. But I'm going to protect Torkoal, get past a likely fake out. Yeah. Then I can Erupt next turn. So there's still big damage on the board. In fact, I think I'm going to click Eruption and switch to Golem. This is the freest Golem switch I'm going to get. They go Incineroar. Intimidate Golem. Protect Calyrex. Trick Room. They can cycle fake outs now. Okay. I'm going to try to make a play here. Maybe I get... Oh, I don't have to. I can switch Indeedee in and get the Psychic Terrain back. Right? They go Koraidon. That's going to take the Eruption better than Shadow Rider, that's for sure. Yeah. Parting Shoot Torkoal. Yeah, I mean, I think this one's pretty doomed, but I'm trying. think they want to attack Indeedee here to deny their Trick Room, so I'm going to try to get an Eruption past them. I'll click Trick Room anyway. They fake out Torkoal. They can just Flare Blitz Indeedee. They don't need Rillaboom to attack it. That makes sense, but, you know. I played to what I thought had some chance of working. Now I'll Heat Wave, and I should have Terra-Fired Torkoal a while ago, actually. That's my bad. But yeah, I'll just Heat Wave and Stone Edge. Collision Course will take out Golem. I did consider running the Focus Sash on Golem, but I invested heavily in its defense because I was running Body Press. Actually, I should probably change that now. I give it the Magnet. Actually, now that I'm not running Body Press, maybe I want to go HP instead of defense. Whatever. I don't think I can be bothered to make that adjustment. Anyway. So, Kyogre is a massive problem for this team, and Rillaboom is a massive problem for this team. Those things were, I think, fairly clear from the get-go, but we've seen them in action now. Let's see if we find a third massive problem before we end this session. This opponent has Volcanion, Groudon, Whimsicott, Farigiraf, Frost Rotom, which is interesting. You don't see that too often, and Fluttermane. Farigiraf obviously can be an issue because it can reverse or deny Trick Room, depending on its set. Whimsicott's a problem too, except they don't have any terrain control, so as long as I have Psychic Terrain up, it can't Encore me or anything. Honestly, Whimsicott could be running Trick Room, but on this team I don't think it is. I think Farigiraf is the problem there. But I feel pretty good to try my usual thing here. Groudon, of course, will be immune to Electric type Explosion. I also need to keep that in mind. On the other hand, Volcanion won't much like to take it. How fast is Volcanion? It is faster than Magearna, guaranteed. Okay, that's good to know. Unless it's running an Iron Ball, which I guess is not impossible on this team, but if they get me with that, they get me with that. Okay, Groudon is probably going to want to Precipice Blades. With that in mind, I'm going to protect Magearna and go for the Trick Room with Indeedee. I have a lot of physical bulk on Indeedee. They don't have Prankster on Whimsicott? That's the only way they could taunt Indeedee, right? The taunt should have been stopped by the Psychic Terrain, unless it's Chlorophyll Whimsicott? It's Chlorophyll? Oh, I've gotten best of one here. Well, let's try to get rid of the Whimsicott. Terra Ground so I can hopefully take a hit from Groudon. It might be Focus Sash Whimsicott too. Who knows at this point? So I'll double into it. They taunt Magearna. Might not be getting any Trick Room up this game. I mean, it could be Infiltrator Whimsicott too. I'm just guessing Chlorophyll because it's on a Sun team. They make up for... Normally, Whimsicott uses Prankster priority to go before everything. On this team, they bypass Farigiraf and Psychic Terrain by dropping that. And my guess is they're on Chlorophyll to make Whimsicott still go faster than almost anything. That's a crazy tech. I mean, it makes sense on some level, but it's kind of crazy. I don't think I'm getting the Golem set up this game, so I'm going to switch it in here to get Magearna untaunted. I would like to use the special attack boost, but they'll just KO Magearna before I can. Let's chip Groudon. Let's chip Volcanion. Volcanion's the bigger problem if I'm sacking Golem, which I certainly am. That double super effective Precipice Blades taking it out nicely there. They miss a Steam Eruption into a DD, so I get a little bit of chip. I guess I need Calyrex to take a hit and set Trick Room here. They don't have their Nightmare Whimsicott on the board. I've already Terra Grounded Magearna though, so they can just Fire Attack Calyrex. But Taunt is worn off on Indeedee, so actually they can only Fire Attack it once. The problem is Groudon will just Precipice Blades, right? And that'll KO Indeedee and Volcanion will Fire Attack. Well, some part of that can miss, so there's still a chance. Rock Slide, okay. Now they have a flinch chance too, but they don't need it. Heat Wave takes out Calyrex. Yeah, either one of those moves could have missed, but really, as soon as the Whimsicott was able to taunt me in Psychic Terrain, that was pretty much GG. That's an interesting tech. I've lost a couple in a row here. I'm going to get another one and see if I can get back on track. I just want to see the Golem blow stuff up again. This could be tricky. They have 2 possible wide guard users in Gallade and Zamazenta, which they've grouped with Incineroar, Miraidon, Weavile, and Chi-Yu. And something about seeing a Weavile on this team just screams some kind of weird trick to me. I don't know what it's going to do. They also have Miraidon for terrain control, but of course, turn 1, if I lead Indeedee, Indeedee will get terrain control because it's slower than Miraidon. I might just only need that turn 1. Chi-Yu is dangerous because it has super effective spread damage into both of my restricteds. I think there's a very good chance they lead Chi-Yu. And I think that there's not a whole lot to be done about that. I think I'm just going to do the core 4 here. I guess if I see Chi-Yu, maybe I Terra Ground Magearna turn 1. Or I Protect and Trick Room with Indeedee. That might work. It is Chi-Yu. They're threatening so much damage. I think I need Magearna to click the Trick Room. Electric Seed Miraidon, huh? So we're going to do this. I don't know if that's going to work. Flamethrower. Okay, the Flamethrower, they don't Heat Wave, so not the best use of Magearna's Terra because it didn't take any damage this turn, but not taking any damage this turn is still great, and now I can blow my Golem up. Dazzling Gleam, Explosion, one more time. Weavile comes in. That's not going to take these attacks. Golem blows itself up. Is it Sash Weavile? It is, but the Dazzling Gleam will knock it out. Magearna gets a +2. Weavile's KO'd. Magearna gets a +3. It really is... It's a big deal for this strategy. It makes it a lot more effective that Magearna gets a boost just from Golem knocking itself out. I think the Gallade is going to wide guard here, so I'm going to Flash Cannon, even though it's not very effective, and High Horsepower the Magearna. The Miraidon. I'm going to do that into the Miraidon. +3 Flash Cannon still gets the KO after the High Horsepower. Magearna gets a +4. There's Chi-Yu. Good chance this Chi-Yu doesn't have Protect. A lot of them run choice items. Gallade could attack here, but I think it's too slow. The bigger problem is I missed the High Horsepower. That's a big problem, except it's not, because +4 Flash Cannon just one-shots the Chi-Yu. Magearna being an absolute menace once again, and here I can Dazzling Gleam and High Horsepower. If Gallade wide guards, it can't attack. It just takes the High Horsepower damage for free. And there we go. We end on another successful game for the Magearna Golem tech. I thought there was a real chance, you know, sometimes when I go a little off the wall like this, I think there's a real chance that I'm going to lose like 5 games in a row before I actually win one. I mean, that has I do have videos where that's happened, but sometimes more than 5. But, you know, this was not an amazing tech or anything. It badly struggled against the only Kyogre I ran into, and then when I made an adjustment for that, I never ran into another Kyogre, go figure. So I don't know whether that would have really helped. It was pretty much hard countered by Rillaboom, at least the way I played into Rillaboom. And then that Whimsicott is the thing I'm going to be thinking about later, because that got me good. But you know what? It was actually pretty effective in some of these games, and if I build a Reg J team just to goof around with on the cartridge ladder, it probably won't be Magearna Golem stuff, but I'll think about Magearna Golem stuff, because this was a lot of fun. Just clicking big Explosion, big Dazzling Gleam. Magearna, I said that I'm making these extra videos because mythical Pokemon are weird and interesting. Magearna is crazy getting a passive boost from any KO that happens on the field. That's... I mean, in this video, that was so much stronger than the Calyrex abilities, or the, I guess, really the ability comes from the horse, the Glastrier Spectrier abilities, where they have to actually take the KO. I mean, the fact that the Golem setup can fail to knock out anything on the other side, and Magearna still gets a boost just from Golem knocking itself out, is kind of wild. So I had a lot of fun with this one. I think I'm going to do one more with Magearna, where I'll try the Perish Song setup. But this is the one I was really looking forward to, and it did not disappoint me. Anyway, on to the next one.